Hey guys, so today I'm going to be talking a bit about TED Ed for my project. TED Ed is an online resource from the company TED. Most of you probably know what TED is. It started out, I think, as like inspirational talks that you could watch online. We've watched at least one of them in class, I believe. But they decided to branch out to education as well. So they created this website called TED Ed, where as both an educator and a student, you can use this to view and create lessons on a variety of subjects for any level, really. So like I said, this can be used as both an educator and as a student. As an educator, you can find lessons online or create lessons of your own. As a student, you can interact with those lessons that your teacher creates, or you can find them yourselves or create them yourselves and share them with others. So how to use this tool, you essentially go to ed.ted.com, where you'll choose whether you're an educator or a student, and then you can it'll ask you to sign up for an account if you want to create stuff or things like that. And so on an educator account, different things you can do. You can discover different lessons. So depending on what type of lesson you want to do, like if you want to find a lesson about history, you can go to history. You can filter by the student level, and you can filter by different things like the longest, oldest, most viewed video, things like that. And you can use those lessons that they have already curated on the site. Those are super helpful. They are made from pretty smart people that know what they're talking about. But if you also want to create your own lesson, you go to create, and then you can type in keywords to find videos, or you can just type in YouTube URL. So if you wanted to make a video or just choose a video, you click on it, and then you can choose different things. You can do an intro right here, just kind of talking about like what the video is and what students should be looking out for while they watch it. And then you can create multiple choice questions or open answer questions. And these are questions that students can answer before, during, or after they watch the video, which that can work really well. And then dig deeper. You can add this if you want your students to like individually explore other information after they've already watched this. So if there's something you want them to know more about that isn't necessarily talked a ton about in the video, you can encourage them to find that and dig deeper on their own. And then you can create prompts for discussions as well. And then just closing thoughts on the lesson. And once you publish it, these lessons can be viewed by your students. They can interact with them and use the educator, get notifications when the student interacts with your lesson. This, I think TED Ed would be particularly helpful in classrooms where maybe they don't have a ton of resources within the actual class to use. I know a lot of areas don't have access to great books or things like that. So the teacher could create a lesson plan on this that they could show either in class or encourages students to view at home as a way to kind of supplement what they're already doing. This could be used in a situation where the teacher can't be in the class. Maybe they have to be gone for a few days at a time or something like that. They can create these lessons that the substitute could show in class. Or for instance, if students aren't able to be in the classroom, like right now, it would be particularly helpful with the COVID-19 situation. And they actually created a TED Ed at home section. So they're sending out like emails to teachers with daily lesson plans and things like that that they can use to reach out to their students while their students are learning at home. So why is this like a good resource? I think oftentimes as educators, as we get our information from places like videos and stuff, it can be difficult for us to translate that information from a video, particularly if it's a long video. It can be difficult for us to translate that directly to the students. And so this is a effective way where we can present the video to them in its entirety and still create questions and prompts and discussions that we want them to see. And as this relates to the SAMR model, we have substitution. So it's essentially just directly takes the place of showing the video in class and discussing it in class. Augmentation. So the educators can privately respond to the students individually and in private about questions they had or concerns. And that conversation is saved for later. So like the student or the educator can look back on it and use that for assessment later. Modification. There are different things that you can implement within like video hints. So if you want students to focus on one specific part of the video, you can add in a video hint that'll tell them essentially like, look at this in the question, and this will help you answer or learn that. And then the dig deeper section encourages students to delve deeper into that specific area or subject that may not be featured in the video. So that's super helpful as well. And then redefinition. So students can, after seeing these and really at any time, the students can create their own lessons based on what they learned, and they can share that with other students. They can share that with pretty much anyone they want. They just copy the link and send it out. So after they've gone through the process pretty much and learned all they can learn, they can then create their own lessons from what they've learned. Pros and cons. I think a good pro, particularly right now due to everyone being at home, I think this would be a super helpful tool for educators and students who aren't able to actually go into the classroom. And I think it would really benefit students and educators because of that. Cons. So I kind of talked a little bit earlier about lack of resources, and that also applies to communities and stuff. So oftentimes students don't have great access to internet at home, or a computer or things like that. So it can be somewhat difficult to expect students to be able to go home and view these lessons if they don't have access to that stuff. And then just keeping students accountable. Like, educators do get notified when students access it and interact with the stuff there, but it can be difficult to motivate those kids to actually go online and use the tool. So that is TED Ed, a useful tool for creating lessons, viewing lessons, and sharing them both with your students and with each other.